Hello, everybody. How's it going? My name is Kayode Akarelli from Facts or Facts Podcast, and today we're going to discuss what went wrong with the Denver Nuggets. What went wrong? I gave it some time. I let it marinate. Okay, I'm a diehard Denver Nuggets fan, so I said, you know what? If I go live immediately after we lose, I'm going to be too emotional. My emotions can take over sometimes. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I gave it some time, man. It's a new series now. We're watching the Mavericks. They're up 3-1 right now on the Timberwolves. And people just want to know what went wrong. I watch every Nuggets game. People are like, oh, what happened? What's wrong with the Nuggets? Now, I'm going to tell you, man, since last season, this did not start this season, man. The real fans of the team know this. Since last season, the Nuggets were a flawed team. Now, in the course of NBA history, a lot of teams are flawed. Go look at the 96 Bulls. Go look at the 91 Bulls. These teams did not have a bunch of shot creation, right? You had Michael Jordan, and then you had guys who can do certain things really well. You didn't have another guy that you could just go to and say, make something out of nothing. We need 15 straight points this quarter. You get what I'm saying? A lot of teams are flawed. Every team isn't like the 86 Celtics. Every team isn't like the early 80s Lakers where you like, oh, I need a great playmaker. I need a great scorer. I need a great third option. I need a great defender. I need a shot blocker. I need all of this stuff. I need a great coach. Every team does not have that. And some of these teams have won multiple rings because the Batman of your team can cover up for a lot of the actual flaws of the team. We've seen it time after time, man. Certain players can play better alongside certain players because it hides the flaws in their skill set. And I've been saying since last season, the Nuggets' biggest problem was backup point guard and bench shooting. The reason why you need these things is because of lineup versatility, and also you have to know your personnel. Jamal Murray is not who people try to say he is. Like, people do this thing where it's like, oh, Jamal Murray doesn't need to be an all-star, or he doesn't need to make All-NBA. He proves it in the playoffs. It's like, well, why isn't he doing it in the regular season? Why isn't he an All-NBA player in the regular season? The reason he's not is because it's a difference between a stretch of games and the totality of games. So with that being said, and Jamal struggles with durability, we know that. He missed a season and a half with the torn ACL. He missed a bunch of games this season. He was in and out of the lineup at times last season. So you like, okay, the smart thing to do is take some mileage off Jamal by having a real shot creator come off the bench. And you say, what am I talking about? You need a guy who can run an offense. And if it's not for everybody else, it needs to be for himself. So if you, T.J. McConnell, Jordan Clarkson, and my pick, which was Dennis Schroeder. I've been saying we should get Dennis Schroeder since last season. If you guys go back, you can look at my tweets. Everybody follow me on Twitter, @Lord of the Squad. You can see it. I was saying last season, this is after we won the finals. See, I'm a basketball guy, man, to the core. So I can acknowledge, okay, my team may have won, but I still saw flaws in that basketball team. I said, what I would do this season, I would get Dylan Brooks, and I would get Dennis Schroeder. I would sign Doug McDermott for the vet minimum. These are the things I was saying I would do. Now, the reason I was saying this, well, let me not say vet minimum. I don't know if Doug was up for the vet minimum, but you could have acquired Doug. The Pacers pretty much got him for free this year. But those were my guys that I wanted this season. I wanted Dylan Brooks. I wanted Dennis Schroeder. And I wanted Doug McDermott. Now, people say, why do you want these guys, right? Dennis Schroeder is a proven backup point guard that can get you 20 points a game for long stretches. In the 2020 season, when he played alongside Chris Paul and SGA, he averaged 19 and 4. Okay, this is a guy I've seen with my own eyes average 26 and 7 in playoff series. This guy gets buckets. He has good point of attack defense, and he can run an offense. It was a game last year where the Lakers played the Heat. You guys know I'm a big Heat guy also. No LeBron, no AD. They had Westbrook and Schroeder. Westbrook and Schroeder destroyed the Heat that game. It was crazy. They were doing whatever they wanted. Dennis Schroeder took Tyler Hero, picked him up the whole game, locked Tyler Hero up. It was ugly. These are the type of guys you need. Okay, Jamal's in foul trouble. Jamal, you know how Jamal is with his conditioning. Jamal gets tired and he grimaces a lot. Throw Dennis Schroeder out there. He's going to get his buckets, and he's going to create easy shot for others. The guys we had on the team, like, they don't do that. Reggie Jackson is a guy, like, he hits a three, and people act like, oh, Reggie had a great game. You look at the box score, he has 5 and 1. Like, that's not it. The reason why I was saying get Dillon Brooks is because a lot of people, I don't know if KCP has hired the best PR team in the world or something, but people were really acting like KCP was Reggie Miller or something. Like, oh, KCP just he creates a high floor for your team and this and that. I'm like, KCP is a 3-and-D guy, which is cool. When you're on a team that has one All-Star on it, Jokic is the only guy who's been an All-Star the last 7 seasons on the Nuggets. The last 7 seasons. That's a long time. If you want to count DeAndre Jordan as an All-Star, you can do that. I'm not. He hasn't been an All-Star in about 7 seasons, at least. When you have that limited ceiling, the floor has to be raised. Now, a lot of people are going to talk efficiency and all of that. Anybody who knows the Nuggets knows whoever plays that shooting guard position with the Nuggets is going to have a career year. I saw it happen time after time. Oh my God, Gary Harris, he's shooting 40% from 3. He's averaging like 14, 15 points. And he's playing good defense. Gary Harris is the guy. Gary Harris goes over to the Magic. He does absolutely nothing. Shocker, not for me. Will Barton, oh my God, Jamal Murray is hurt. Michael Porter Jr. is hurt. Will Barton's going to have to do something. Will Barton, shooting about 45, 46% from the field, almost 40% from 3, had a career year. The next year, he's out the league. That's what happened. Jokic is an efficiency riser. He'll take the average player that's inefficient and make him efficient. So you get a guy like Dillon Brooks. We've seen what he's done at his peak. He's averaged 18 points per game at his peak. He's averaged 26 per game in a playoff series. We've seen it. We've seen him hit a bunch of threes. We've seen a mismatch attack. Go back and watch that playoff series versus the Warriors. He actually has a little bag. He can get to his step backs and pull-ups and bully smaller players. He's 6'7", 230. And most importantly, away from the offense, even though I think his offense gives you a higher floor than KCP does. I'm sorry, not higher floor, higher ceiling. The defense is not even close. Like, Dillon Brooks is one of the best defenders in the league. A lot of people like Jaden McDaniels. I feel like the Mavericks series is showing you guys. Jaden McDaniels is a good point of attack defender, but when you put a bigger wing on him, he's just going to get thrown out the club. Dillon Brooks, I've seen him guard Curry. I've seen him guard Dame Lillard. I've seen him guard LeBron. I've seen him guard big wings. I've seen him switch on the AD and guard the big man. I've seen him. I've seen it. I've seen this guy guard all these positions and lock them up. Completely lock them up. Brandon Ingram locked him up. I've seen him lock up LeBron. I've seen him lock up Dame. I've seen him lock up Steph. Just go look. This stuff is all on the internet, too. You can go look at it. If you guys don't want to believe me, just go look it up. It's all there, all the footage. What we saw in the Timberwolves series is KCP is cool at guarding guards. The problem with that is Jamal Murray isn't a really good defender. So if you have KCP guarding the guard, who's guarding the wing? Because, see, you're going to run into teams that have a good guard and a good wing. Now what's going to happen? And what we saw is KCP is too small to guard Anthony Edwards. So now we're in a situation where we're relying on Jokic to stop Ant Edwards at the rim with a full head of steam because he's going right through KCP. And I was saying this last season. You get Dylan Brooks, okay, Jamal, you don't have to worry about playing defense at all. Just stay close to the shooter. Dylan Brooks is taking the best defender. It doesn't matter if it's a guard or it's a wing. He's taking that every single game. That also creates a better competitive edge, too. The stuff the Timberwolves were doing in that series, all the front running, that's not happening with Dylan Brooks on the court. He's screaming and yelling at Anthony Edwards' face. That's going to happen. You need those type of players alongside Jokic because what we saw happen over the course of that series was the T-Wolves punked the Nuggets. The only guy that didn't punk, Nikola Jokic. KCP, all we saw him doing was looking at the refs the whole series. Jamal Murray, we saw him throw a heat pack on the court. Michael Porter Jr. had a lot on his mind. He wasn't hitting shots. And Aaron Gordon, you're asking him to do too much. You want him to guard everybody. He shouldn't have to do that. You got Aaron Gordon guarding Cat, switching on the Ant. It's too much. It's too much you asking non-All-Stars to do. Jamal Murray shouldn't have to be expected to average 26 a game in the playoffs as a non-All-Star. Aaron Gordon shouldn't have to guard 1 through 5 and bring the ball up as a non-All-Star. This is why the roles were never slotted correctly. You go get a bigger wing defender in a Dylan Brooks, and you go get Dennis Schroeder off the bench. So now Jamal doesn't. You don't have to do Jamal Murray staggers. Jamal comes out of the game. Dennis Schroeder comes in the game. Dennis Schroeder can also play alongside Jamal. Why? Because he has the ball handling. What we saw is when you get up into Jamal, he's liable to get plucked at half a lot. It happened in key moments throughout the whole playoffs. You can put Dennis Schroeder on the court and say, look, Jamal, just get up the court. I got this. Dennis Schroeder got the ball on the string. All that stuff they was doing is not working on him. Okay? You bring that off the bench. Now Jamal is less tired. And now we can get into the two-man game stuff. You can do that. You can't do that with Reggie Jackson. You can't. And Malone doesn't even trust him. Then you add Doug McDermott for bench shooting. You need that guy off the bench that can just come in the game and light it up from 3. You need it. Every team has it, except the Nuggets. You don't know if these guys on the Nuggets can shoot. You just don't know. You don't know if Reggie Jackson's a good shooter. How will we know? Malone doesn't even trust him to play. When he shoots the ball, do you think it's going in? Probably not. Christian Brown, maybe he can shoot, maybe not. We don't know. He hasn't had the attempts. I don't see him catching the ball confidently and firing threes. I don't see it. And this is where you can get better internally, man. And this is where I think Mike Malone dropped the ball. Internal development could have happened this season. This was the perfect season for it. Now, a lot of people blame off of, what do you call it, confirmation bias, okay? A prime example of this is Colin Gillespie. Colin Gillespie gets on the court. He's a 6'2" white guy, and everybody's like, oh, he can't defend. I'm watching these games. Colin Gillespie is picking up guys the whole court. He's defending, okay? Colin Gillespie is a dead-eye shooter. Just watch the tape from him in college. A dead-eye shooter. When I was watching these games, I was saying, man, Gillespie should be really playing over Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson had basically like one good month, and it wasn't good after that. Let's be honest. Gillespie actually should have played in the playoffs, in my opinion, over Reggie Jackson. But in Malone's defense, you can't really just throw somebody out there who hasn't really been in the rotation all season. But that's why when you watch it, you say, look, I got to get this guy on the court. And I've heard Malone, it kind of seems, I may be reading too deep into it, but it kind of seems as though Malone wanted to play Colin, but somebody told him not to. Because I saw a post-game interview one time where we got blown out. I can't remember the game. It was a regular season game. We got blown out. And I heard Malone say, Colin Gillespie's just giving it his all out there. He shows he wants to be out there. He's fighting. But then the next game, I don't think he played. What's up with that? So you got a guy who's better effort, stronger with the ball. Reggie Jackson is very loose with the ball. Makes me nervous. And he's Colin Gillespie's a dead-eye shooter. You get him out there, you're at least getting from an effort standpoint, much better effort and much quicker decisions. I would have personally played Colin Gillespie. All the Jalen Pickett, all of that, Jalen Pickett should not have been playing either. We saw it. Gillespie was better. Okay? He should not have played. Same thing with Reggie Jackson. After that month, when he cooled off, I get it, he's a veteran. You saw it, though. Reggie Jackson, man, should not have been playing. He's too old. Colin Gillespie should have been out there. But even on a bigger scale, the biggest miss of the season was Julian Strawther. Malone, what are you thinking? We all saw it, man. Julian Strawther was a dead-eye shooter in college. Dead-eye. Shot 40% on high volume at Gonzaga last year. He comes to the Nuggets. We watching Summer League, watching preseason. I'm like, hey, this dude has a flamethrower. He's not just a guy who's a flat-footed shooter. Like, when I say flat-footed shooter, if you ever watched Dorian Finney-Smith, a guy who just stands there and shoot threes, usually from the corner, but he doesn't really move when he shoots. It takes him a while. Julian Strawther, he gets that, it's going up quick. It's hard to get a hand up on that. And then if you close out, he can attack the closeout and get to the floater, or he can get to the layup. That's very important in a playoff series because when you have Jokic, you know he's going to make the right read. It may be a cross-court pass that he whips across the court. A guy like Justin Holiday, I mean, he's not going to get all the way to the rim. And if he takes a mid-range shot, it's an actual mid-range jumper. It's no rhythm to it. It's a one-dribble pull-up. That's the shot they want role players to take in the playoffs. Strawther can get to the floater, he can get to the layup, and he has a quicker release than Justin Holiday. And he's taller and bigger. And his defense, from what I saw in the season, I was like, this guy has an actual ceiling he can hit defensively. I saw some flashes of defensive playmaking, a couple shot blocks, and just energy plays that he made. Got me excited. And the reason I bring this up, man, is because that lineup versatility could have been solved right there. It could have been solved right there. You have a guy in Colin Gillespie who's used to playing with other guards. He can get along there and play alongside Jamal Murray, and you got a guy in Julian Strawther who's 6'7". This guy isn't small. He's 6'7". Now, okay, the Wolves are giving you trouble. Lineup versatility kicks in. Boom, okay, let's stretch him out. Jamal Murray, KCP, Julian Strawther, Michael Porter Jr. Now, when you put that lineup in, it throws a wrinkle in the defense. They know, okay, if Gordon is there, Gordon is going to be running around the dunker trying to catch a lob. We know that. Right? Christian Brown comes in, they're not closing out on his threes. Reggie Jackson only playing 5 minutes, and usually all of that is in the first half. The lineup versatility wasn't there. Now you have that wrinkle. It's like, whoa, Julian Strawther might have just hit. We saw him hit like 4 straight threes against the Pelicans. We saw it. Julian Strawther had the lineup versatility that we could have unlocked. Now it's like, okay, we got Julian Strawther at 6'7", Michael Porter Jr. at 6'10", Jokic flirting with 7 feet, Jamal Murray at 6'4", KCP 6'5", KCP really long arms. It's not the best defensive lineup, but that lineup could actually hit enough threes to keep you over in stretches. Because when you're a team like the Nuggets, the execution is going to be there, but shot variance can actually get you out of a game. So when you're not hitting threes, that's how we end up in every game in the Lakers. Against the Lakers, we were down at half. Almost every game we play, it's like, what's going on? The Lakers are taking more threes, they're hitting threes, this and that, and they have more guys that can do it. With the Nuggets, you have a couple guys that hit threes. You have Murray and you have MPJ. And KCP occasionally hits threes. A lot of people around the league will talk to you like he's Reggie Miller or he's Ray Allen. KCP, it's a reason his volume is the way it is. He can't get enough threes up. And that's why I say you get a guy like Dylan Brooks, man. He can get those threes up. When you playing with a guy like Jokic, he gets so many offensive rebounds. The skill of getting the three up is actually more important. So getting that defensive versatility there, you can get that. He can just get those threes up, and he can attack a closeout. He can pull up for mid-range. He can do so many different things that a KCP can't do. That's why I really wanted those players. So if it was my choice, that's what I would have done. At the deadline, I would have got this season, because you missed on Schroeder and Dylan Brooks last season, and they did what they had to do for their teams. Schroeder did his thing in both locations, in Toronto and in Brooklyn. Let me just check the averages really quick. Schroeder this season, he averaged 14 points and 6 assists, 43% from the field, 37% from three. This is real? Wow, he really shot. Schroeder shot 37% from three this season. You telling me the Nuggets couldn't have used 14 and 6 with 37% from three off the bench? I think so. I really think so. Now you look at what Dylan Brooks averaged. Well, first, let's go to Reggie Jackson, because Reggie Jackson is who played on the Nuggets. Reggie Jackson had a season with the Nuggets. Averaged 10 and 4, 43% from the field, 36% from three. So Schroeder had a better season, clearly, and he wasn't even on the Nuggets. And most of that Reggie Jackson stuff was in the beginning of the season. His averages dropped. It went down a lot. He's only an inch taller than Dennis Schroeder, so you can't tell me it's about the size and everything. And at this point, Reggie Jackson is just, he's old, man. He's old. He's 34 years old. So I would rather have Dennis Schroeder. If you guys would rather have Reggie Jackson, that's you, not me. Now let's go to KCP. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He averaged 10 points, 2 rebounds, which is, okay, 2 assists, 1.3 steals. Everybody acts like KCP is this defensive playmaker. He averaged 1.3 steals and 0.6 blocks. Cool. He didn't make an all-defensive team. He never has. Very overrated player. 46% from the field, 40% from three, which is solid. I'm not going to lie. That's solid. But he's also playing with the Nuggets. Like I said, I saw Gary Harris and Will Barton do the same exact thing, and they were out the league. Will Barton was out the league. Gary Harris just doesn't really play on the Magic. Dylan Brooks this season averaged more points. He was 13 and 3. So he averages more rebounds than KCP. He averages more points, both significant margin. Almost 3 points more than KCP. Almost a whole rebound over KCP. KCP does average more steals than Dylan Brooks, though. And I will say, before Dylan Brooks' injury, he was shooting like 48% from three. And the way I see it, and people could just say this may be luck or whatever, but when they were playing through the big, when they were playing through Sengun, that's when his percentages were at the highest. But when they started playing through Jalen Green and started playing that type of ball they played in Memphis, his percentages dropped a little bit. But Dylan Brooks shot 36% from three last season. Shot more threes than KCP did. He shot 5 a game, made 1.8 threes a game, shot 43% from the field. And he's just a better defender than KCP. I don't want to hear otherwise. 6'7", about 230. Very quick on his feet. Would have been a better team, in my opinion. Doug McDermott, you put him in the game, you know exactly what you're trying to do. Okay, the game is getting kind of out of hand. We're down 15. We need to catch lightning in a bottle. Throw Doug McDermott in with Jokic, so you got a Jamal Murray, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Doug McDermott, and Jokic lineup. Just hope he catches fire, because they got to pick their poison, right? So the lineup versatility is what needs to be addressed with the Nuggets. Malone also needs to stop doing what he's doing to the young guys. We're probably going to lose Colin Gillespie this year, even though he clearly was better than Jalen Pickett. I thought he should have been playing over Reggie at some point later in the season. So you got to play Julian Strother. And I think Hunter Tyson, too. Hunter Tyson got no chance at all to show what he could do, which I thought was very weird with the kind of season we had. You could have got AG some rest down there. You could have, we're going to start Hunter Tyson and play Michael Porter Jr. at the 4. You do this type of stuff during the regular season when guys are sitting. Jamal only played about 56 games this year. You had time to tamper with the lineups. But no, you decided to play Justin Holiday. You decided to play Justin Holiday, a guy who averaged 4 points in 24 games last year. It's just unexcusable, man. Play the young guys. Julian Strother was better than Justin Holiday the day he walked in the door. Justin Holiday was never better than him. Julian Strother is a little bit taller. He's a little bit bigger. And Julian Strother has a higher level of skill. And at the deadline, you should have traded for Kelly Olynyk. Very clear, very simple. You saw DeAndre Jordan was producing, but you saw that Malone didn't really want to play him either. Go get Kelly Olynyk. Now, that's another lineup you can throw out there. You can go 2 big lineup. Kelly Olynyk's physical. He's tough. Put Kelly Olynyk out there beside Jokic. That's a guy who can shoot the leather off the ball. Put Kelly Olynyk, and Kelly Olynyk can play make very well. If you watch the Utah Jazz last season before he got traded to the Raptors, Kelly Olynyk would just come off the bench. You look at the stat sheet, he got 6 assists in the first half. You're like, what's going on? Kelly Olynyk got that nice little pump fake at the three-point line. You can't just run him off and make him irrelevant. I would have liked to see Kelly Olynyk at the trade deadline for whatever assets we had. You should have addressed that. So that's what went wrong with the Nuggets. Now, I'm going to address how we can fix it. Because, you don't want to cry over spilled milk. You didn't get Dylan Brooks. You didn't get Dennis Schroeder. You didn't play Colin Gillespie. You didn't play Julian Strother. But that's over now, right? So how can the Nuggets get better? One way we can get better is you can use the tradable contract for Zeke Naji, which I don't know. This guy's the worst player in the NBA, in my opinion. I watch a lot of basketball, man, and I've been watching a lot of basketball since I was a kid. Zeke Naji struggles catching the ball. He struggles getting rebounds. We don't know what happened to his shot. He used to be like an alleged shooter. I don't know what happened to his shot from free throw or 3. I don't know. What can he do? And then you will hear these weird takes like, oh, when you play Zeke Naji, you can switch. It doesn't matter if you switch if nobody's scoring. Like, Zeke Naji isn't a great defender. Like, I understand y'all can say he can switch. That just means you can hold up due to size and athleticism. He's not making nobody all defensive team. So what you can do is you can use him as a tradable contract to get a bench ball handler. And you got to let KCP go. His time is up. Okay, we saw it. KCP cannot guard stronger wings. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw him get annihilated by Paul George. I watched the game. It was a regular season game. And I saw him get destroyed by Anthony Edwards. Until we had to do stuff like trap and all that. And then I would keep hearing every Nuggets podcast, KCP need to be all defense. You guys, come on, man. That's what I hate. Basketball comes first. Fandom comes second. Okay? This guy's not an all defensive team player just because he plays for the Nuggets. Okay? Look at who made the all defensive teams. Bam Adebayo, Victor Wembanyama, Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Drew Holiday, Caruso. Those type of guys made the all-defensive team. Anthony Davis. Like, KCP doesn't belong with those names. You got guys who didn't make it who are way better defenders than him. Dylan Brooks is a better defender than KCP. Sorry, it's the truth. That's just what it is. Derek White, another guy who made it, way better defender than KCP. Not even close to the same guy. This is just reality, okay? This is what it is. These guys are better defenders. KCP has to go. Christian Brown has a way higher ceiling. Now, the thing with Christian Brown, like I was saying earlier, we don't know if he can shoot or not. The stats say maybe. The stats say he shot 38% from three this year. The volume is low, but he also didn't start, so that's kind of not his fault. But just for a fun fact, I told you guys, KCP averaged 10-2 this year. Christian Brown actually averaged 7-4 off the bench. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think Christian Brown has better finishing potential. We all watch KCP. We see he just runs up the court and throws the ball off the backboard a lot of times on fast breaks. I never understood it. It's like he just misses wide open layups. I don't get it. Christian Brown finishing that with a dunk. I saw him bully Jimmy Butler out the way and finish a layup in the finals. I saw him bully Rudy Gobert one time during this playoff run. I saw it. This guy is going to be better on the boards. He's more physical of a player. He's definitely going to be a better catch and finish type of guy where he just goes backdoor cuts. Jokic hits him on the cut and he finishes at the rim. He's going to be better than that than KCP. The thing is only if he can shoot. But I feel like if we get in transition, he makes us way more dangerous in transition than KCP does. KCP just does too many weird things in transition for me. And most importantly, he has the size, man. He's bigger than KCP. He's taller. He's bulkier. He can resist a bump. You know, a lot of guys, they like to get to that mid-range. Pascal Siakam is so famous for that. But Anthony Edwards did it a lot against us. A little bump and then get the mid-range off. Christian Brown can withstand that bump. I want to see him initiated into the starting lineup. Either him or P. Watt. P. Watt has an even higher ceiling than Christian, but I really don't. I really think that jumper is suspect from P. Watt. But Christian Brown or P. Watt, I would like to see at the shooting guard position. No KCP. I'm not paying KCP $20 million for 10-2 when I think a lot of other players can do that. You can probably get Kelly Oubre for less, and Kelly Oubre is way better than KCP. Way better rebounder, better defender, more versatile defender, way better scorer. Bunch of guys that you can pay less money to get better than what KCP is. Caleb Martin is better than KCP right now. I promise you. I've watched every Miami Heat game. Caleb Martin is better than KCP. The Heat actually had Caleb Martin playing power forward at various points of this season and last season. And the stats are better, which I didn't even know. Caleb Martin averaged 10 points, 4 rebounds. Actually, I wouldn't say they're better, but the stats are similar. KCP 10-2, Caleb Martin 10-4, but KCP was more efficient. But I think a lot of that has to do with him playing with Jokic. A lot of that has to do with that. But I would take Caleb Martin over KCP right now, especially playing alongside Jokic and Maul. 6'5", wiry guy. This guy can really finish in transition. Like, unreal, super good athlete. I would take him over KCP right now. But I also don't think you need to address that position at all unless you can still go get Dillon Brooks, which I don't think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can get Dillon Brooks at this point. But I would just replace it with Christian Brown or P. Watt at the 2. KCP has to go. No way you re-sign him. And you got to get a ball handler. In my opinion, this is the trade I would propose. Who I really wanted Josh Giddey. But I'll be honest, I watched Sam Presti's interview. It sounds like Josh Giddey not going nowhere. I kept hearing Sam Presti say he's 21. He's a high competitor, and he always gets better, even though it may not reflect in the numbers, and he's going to work on this and that. I heard that. I said, yeah, this guy's not getting traded. Sam Presti knows ball, so we probably not going to get Josh Giddey, even though that's what I would want. But what you can do is use Zeke Najee's tradable contract and go get Dennis Schroeder. You can still go get that. I don't think you should pay like high money. Like a Jordan Clarkson is probably going to get a lot of money. I think Dennis Schroeder makes about $10-11 million next year. Go get Zeke Najee. Go give them Zeke Najee. Oh, you can sell them on. Oh, this is a player that has potential. We can take Schroeder's contract off of your hands, that kind of talk. Bring Dennis Schroeder over to the Nuggets. That immediately solves the bench, in my opinion. You're getting a guy who's going to average between 12 and 14 points, guaranteed for the whole season, not just for like a stretch or like, oh, I averaged 18 this month and then I averaged like 7 points the rest of the way. No, this guy's going to do this the whole year. He's going to have 20-point games. He's going to have 30-point games. He's going to have 10 assist games. He's going to have 4 steal games. Like, this is what he's going to do. He's going to play defense. Another thing Reggie did not do this season. His defense was terrible. Go get Dennis Schroeder, solve that. Move Christian Brown to the 2, play alongside Jokic, MPJ. Do not trade MPJ. A lot of people saying that. We already can't shoot as a team, right? Don't get rid of MPJ. Now, what the players can do better. I'll be honest, I'm not going to get on here and say what I think Jamal should do, because I just don't think Jamal is going to do it. He's injury prone. He's not the best conditioned guy. Jamal is going to be Jamal, so I'm not even worried about him. Christian Brown, work on your spot-up shooting. And when I say work on it, don't just get the shots up. In the game, shoot the ball. When you catch it, shoot it right away. Don't wait. Get it up. Get the shot up. Because if you can shoot like KCP, if you can hit about 1.5 threes a game at 40%, ceilings through, you should average more than 10 points right there. You should be able to get 4 a game in transition. You should be able to get to the line once a game. If you can hit 2 threes, almost 2 threes a game, man, the ceiling is crazy. Bigger player, stronger player, more athletic. He's way more athletic than KCP. Way more. This guy has very good defensive potential. I remember watching him in Summer League. I was just like, man, this guy's going to be a problem. So you can get better doing that. Michael Porter Jr., you're fine. Aaron Gordon, get back to shooting your catch-and-shoot threes like you did that one season in Orlando. And Jokic, shoot the 3. I hated it all season watching Jokic pump fake when nobody's there and drive. You used to shoot 40% from 3 in the regular season. I remember it. I remember you used to shoot too many threes. Get back to shooting threes, man, and the Nuggets will be on pace for a better season. So that's what was wrong with the Nuggets. That's what the Nuggets need to fix. This is Facts of Facts, and you guys tap in for the next video. Follow me on Instagram at Broadway K, and follow me on Twitter at Lord of the Squad, and follow me on Bleacher Report. Peace and love.
That's real.